Welcome to Still Untitled, the Adam Sandler Project. I'm Will.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Norm.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
When you were a kid, way back in the last century, last millennia even, what did you think 2018 was going to be like?
Oh my! What I think 2018?
Yeah.
Honestly, never thought about this year specifically.
Okay.
Until just a few years before 2000, all I thought about was how old I'd be in 2000.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I was born in 67, so I knew I'd be 33.
I'd be 25.
And I was like,
6.
wow, what is life going to be like when I'm 33?
16.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus Christ, Will.
I forgot the one. Forgot to carry.
So yeah, I never thought as far as 2018. If you'd asked me in the mid 90s, I would have thought that 2018 might feel a little closer to Blade Runner than it currently does.
That's grim, but okay.
Yeah,
I'll
that was my favorite movie then. Still, one of
I
my
was
all-time
hoping for
favorites.
Jetsons by 2018.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like flying cars.
Movies do a really bad job of like projecting how far ahead, but they always say the year.
So the movies never get the triviality of technology, right? So there's never going to be a futuristic movie in which Tom Cruise bursts in a jetpack into someone's apartment and they're like videotaping their Roomba annoying their cat.
or the entire movie is just a series of selfies from posted
The
to
mundane
Instagram.
Black Mirror.
Tom
Selfies
Cruise,
in terrible positions.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Just nothing but duck faces all the way through.
Oh my God. Are they bringing back Jersey Shore?
No, that guy went. One of those guys popped up on my feed the other day.
The Situation?
No, one of the other ones. He's like a medieval scholar. He went and got a doctorate in maybe just a master's. I can't remember, but in like medieval studies, and his work showed up in a context that was not Snooki related on my Twitter feed.
Wow.
Wow. So.
Thanks for bringing these people back into my life and consciousness. 2018, after what felt like a very long 2017.
It was really nice. Let me just describe this in the harshest terms possible. To put a bullet in 2017.
Remember in 2016?
And send it back
R.I.P.
to bury
2017 to 2017.
out behind the shed.
Remember at the end of 2016 when we thought, this can't get worse.
That's what I kept saying the other night.
Yeah.
We had a lovely party at Casa Sauvage. Sadly,
my daughter popped a 5-year-old fever at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
I hate it when they suddenly decide to be radiators.
I mean, I look, the thing that you learn is when your 5-year-old is like laying on the couch under a blanket unprompted at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes.
When there's a house full of new toys, probably your plans are fucked.
Can you even use them as heating elements?
Look, so when my daughter has a fever, she likes one of us to come climb in bed with her when she has like fever dreams and gets scared or whatever. And you get in there, and all she wants to do is snuggle because you're cool, and she's like the white hot light of 1,000 burning suns next to you.
That's when Matt Damon dug up, to warm himself.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So yeah,
in the Martian.
What's that?
In the Martian,
I was like, what?
I thought you were going to Interstellar there.
No,
that got really dark in my head for a second.
So no, she's fine now. She just, they get sick, they're bad for like 36 hours, and now everything's cool again.
So we had a lovely New Year's. We sent 2017 packing. There was it was a very we throw this party every year, pretty much, and it was a very emotional party, more than most. And it wasn't like people were weeping or anything. It was just like, this is one of the key ways in which we engage with our friends, and we have lovely gatherings and we see them socially. And this one in particular, I felt like every goodbye was a real heartfelt. And partially, we got to stick together sort of goodbye at the end of the party. And it was lovely. We had some fantastic non-alcoholic drinks going. The bartenders that we hired have some really awesome, random, radical non-alcoholic drink recipes, and they made up a whole bunch. And then there were also some really great absinthe and rum-based cocktails at the party. It was great.
It's a lovely, every year it's a lovely party. I had multiple people sent me texts and Twitter messages. We're like, hey, we're sorry we didn't see you this year. You're still on the good list, right? I was like, yeah, we were good. We're cool. But, sick. So I was bummed to miss it.
A lot of friends of mine brought their spouses that I had not met or not spent lots of time with. I had not spent lots of time with Kishore's amazing wife. And holy hell are those two just like, Kishore is one of the most delightful humans I know, but I had no idea that spending time with him and his wife made him like X times 3 delightful. That was great. That was really fun.
It was wonderful to see, people in their dynamics and have extended conversations with some of our friends that we only get to see a couple times a year.
Yeah, my mom was there. Yeah. She was the life of the party. James Randi, the amazing Randy, he
wow.
came with some friends of mine and some friends of his, and that was lovely. He held court over by my couch in the living room.
Perfect.
I was thinking, because the previous year, was it the previous year that Phil Tippett sat close to that same spot, pretended to be cranky? Phil pretends to be cranky, but Phil is just a sweet pussycat of a man, and he's not actually cranky. So I was thinking Randy was like the white-bearded guy over there in the corner.
Yes. You can watch over the tree. Yeah. I was very impressed that you had much of your house open, and I know we've done like one video a long time ago about your home office, but you had your home office. It was great to see.
Well, we the party has gotten bigger over the years, and we experimented with some flow about the house, and so we opened up much more of the house to flow to spread the party out, and it really worked. So we had my office, Julia's office. We had signs on them. Julia's office was for introverts. Mine was for extroverts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you Myers-Briggs people on the way in, or did you? Like...
We let them self-sort.
Okay.
We rearranged the deck, so this all sounds way overly fancy. We have this tiny little deck, but we rearranged it so it could seat more people, and that was lovely.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, is this the deck that we climbed up on the roof to launch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not launch illegal drones off of.
It wasn't
that
illegal
was
at the
even a
time.
licensed thing.
Oh yeah, you could do it. It was back in the freewheeling days.
That was when
We had supervision.
Yeah, we flew a drone over the Mission District for an hour.
I at one point I think we said, let's see how. Well, never mind. We shouldn't talk about this. But
How did you guys spend the week leading up to New Year's? The week between Christmas and New Year's. So always exactly 1 week.
We did toys. I have a 5-year-old, so we played with toys. We went on road scooters and bicycles, and we went all over the bay in search of wind to fly the new kite. But it's not the windy time of year right now, so we'll get some. It was good. It was
we
really
drove
nice.
back from Portland, where we had spent a bunch of time with the families, and then so Julie and I drove back from Portland by ourselves with our dogs.
Which way
You
did
guys
you
stayed
go?
with family in Portland?
We did.
Okay.
Well, no, we stayed in a hotel up there, but we have a lot of family up there. So we did Christmas with them, a big long Christmas with them, which was great.
Did you do down 101 or did you do down 5?
We did down 101 this
Yeah,
time.
it's
So we
so
took
fun.
from Portland. We went due west and then south down to Gold Beach.
Oh man.
We stayed that night in Gold Beach, and then we thought we would have a choice about how to get home, but from Gold Beach,
Nope.
the fastest way is 101, and we were like, wow, I guess we got 7.5 hours of driving ahead of us.
Yeah.
And so we got up really early, I think at like 6:30 in the morning, and we were home by 4. It was great.
I wish I had known you were going there. I would have told you the Tillamook factory is there.
We actually, what we did was the Tillamook factory.
It's north of Gold Beach. I can't remember.
No, it is. We drove past it.
Oh my God.
And that was very cool. There were a couple of microbreweries which we were going to stop at, but they don't have public. There were a couple of places that we thought would have public areas, but don't.
Oh, like dog areas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And even places where you can go to their shop. There's some, there are a lot of microbreweries. So we picked up some growlers for some friends.
Nice. That Tillamook factory tour, if you're ever there,
Is it great?
It's not a tour. You just can walk in and they have the factory open with glass on the top.
Yeah.
But you get to see how the cheese is made and all the machinery and the conveyor belts and all that stuff. If it's running, it's highly recommended.
Lots
That's
of curds.
great.
Yeah. You can eat all the curds you want.
Oh,
They
that's
they
awesome.
just hand them out like popcorn.
Lovely.
Yeah.
If next time in Portland, have you ever stayed at the Kennedy School?
No.
Oh, it's one of the McMinimans properties. They renovate old
Like
buildings,
institutions, right?
And it's an old, I think, elementary or middle school, but it's a beautiful hotel. Danica loves, and we stayed there once.
Oh, I'm
in-
going to
in
ask you
Portland.
about that next time I go up
Yes.
there. We stayed at the Kimpton Vintage.
Oh,
Again, I
I've
love
stayed there,
Kimptons.
yeah.
And unbelievably great hotel. We love the Kimptons because they're dog friendly, as you pointed out. But this one, like, we're there over Christmas. And that staff working Christmas, I mean, that's a tough gig
Yeah.
doing that service industry over the big holidays, and the staff was amazing. Like every one of them was sunny and delightful and just fabulous. It was a great stay. It was really lovely.
And it's a good walking town too, because there's a bunch of good stuff to walk to right around there. You're like near the cart pods, the whole thing. Portland's so good.
It was cold as all get out.
Really?
And there was a snow and ice storm
Oh, great.
the night of Christmas or the day before Christmas. So going home Christmas Eve was the second scariest driving experience I've ever had.
God, over the hills south of Crescent City.
In a Prius?
No. We rented a Nissan Armada.
What? I know what that is.
Whoa.
It seats 8.
Is that an SUV that you can't see out the back of?
No, you can kind of see out the back of it. It was for the dogs and
Yeah.
us. And once we got to Portland, I took all the kids to see Star Wars, and
Nice.
but it was like all hydroplaning, black ice everywhere in Portland. Get on the freeway, no one's going over 30.
Yeah.
Everyone's just keeping like 90 feet between everyone else. I watched people just at like 10 miles an hour drive through fences without being able to control the direction of their car.
This is the Tesla autopilot death scenario.
Well, and I'm in the, I've got like kids and dogs and in-laws in the car driving them all over Portland at this like 4 miles per hour. And my son started to make fun of how slow I was going. And my wife.
They're from
Backseat driving is not what you need.
They're from
moment.
California. They
how
don't
awful this really can be.
No, like the black ice thing.
It's real.
For a long time, when I lived in Tennessee when I was in high school, my mom and dad during the winter, the last thing they would tell me every time I left the house to get in the car and drive was, watch out for black ice.
Well, and look, I've been steeply trained in oversteer, understeer, and all that, like losing traction. And we're in this big vehicle that can handle it. And even still, it was hairy. It was really hairy.
If you hit a patch of real ice, there's not a lot you can do, right?
There's not a lot
Like momentum.
This is the thing: is you have to drive expecting at any second your car is about to careen out of control. So you need to be going at a speed and at a trajectory that you can have options from. So it's always pumping the brakes, always like adjusting your steering. I mean, it was
Okay, Dad, whatever. Combat driving through Portland.
Not driving with your knees.
Yeah.
no.
Norm, what did you do?
Stayed in San Francisco
Wow.
basically the entire week. We did 1 day trip to Tahoe. Just to
A
make
day
this-
trip
a
to
day
Tahoe.
trip to Tahoe.
Madman.
It's
That's
4
awesome.
hours and just drove to
How
South
did Ripley
City.
do? Ripley was
Ripley
into
was
it?
great. Yeah,
Did
we
you
took
put
a
it in the
dog. Yes.
Is there
so
snow?
kinda. Yeah, it's a little bit icy. You can see like patches of snow.
Could
but
you
it was,
walk
like,
on the top?
on top
Like
of the
on
snow?
top of the snow? Was it that kind of icy, or did she sink in?
No,
we
sinking.
we
No
took the dogs
sinking.
to some area of
Yeah.
snow, and they ran up and sunk down.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
this
the
is
best.
terrible!
Bad.
And came right back out.
They don't like the snow. Oh,
No.
we wanted to expose her to snow.
She's so skinny and thin.
I put on a sweater. She'll deal with it. Yeah, but we love driving.
I loved
and
all the dogs in sweaters in Portland, by the
Oh,
way.
it's very funny.
Yeah.
Booties,
Oh.
sweaters, super cute.
Yeah. How about gift giving? You guys had success in your gift giving?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The thing 1 and thing 2 got some lovely gifts geared towards them.
What was your favorite gift to give
That is a really, really great question.
this
Oh,
year
man.
that you gave this year?
I put together a Barbie dream house, Norm.
Oh my
Well,
goodness!
there you go.
You never had to deal with that, but that was a fun one.
Wow.
But Gina had asked for an Instant Pot, one of those electric pressure cookers, for a long time, and I've wanted a pressure cooker for years. She's always been hesitant, simply because, who wants a bomb in their kitchen?
Exactly.
And that
yeah.
thing's amazing. It's really good.
Really?
Yeah, I was shockingly. Kenji did a whole thing about it before the holidays. But I did the whole slow play. I was like, no, we're never going to have one of those things in our house. We have a rice cooker. We have a slow cooker. We're not doing it. No. And then,
That's I like the
Christmas morning.
theatricality. I get
Yeah.
gift giving. Christmas morning must be like an Apple keynote.
Surprises. Yeah, I want one more thing.
It's the one I literally had one more thing this year.
I hid the Instant
hid-
Pot in my office
Yes.
and then pulled it out
Yes.
after all the presents
Perfect.
were opened.
We
That's
go
the-
back and forth on that this year. My wife and I mean, we have a nice life, and we have a lot about what we need. And so sometimes we go out on Christmas and do stuff. And this was one of those years where we each bought each other just some small, lovely little things. Like really it was a very minor Christmas on that regard. I bought the boys watches.
Oh, nice.
And that was great, thinking about watches that were specific to them. And I gave out a few of EDC1 bags to some various
cool.
folks,
Excellent.
and they were very appreciative.
I was going to say the socks. Dumbledore says it in one of the Harry Potter movies that he wants socks for Christmas.
Dude, I got socks for Christmas, and I'm so my family knows. Get me some Paul Smith socks, and I'm the happiest man alive.
I want like warm, thick, woolly, fuzzy socks, and I
It's
will
the
be
best.
really happy. Yeah.
Yeah, those aren't cheap either. Those are good
No,
gifts.
no,
Those are
they're not.
fantastic gifts.
I saw several movies. By the way, and this is to talk about later, but I saw Shape of Water. I'm not going to oversell it because it's easy to do that. I don't want to set up too many expectations, but it's magnificent, and specifically the characters in it are unlike characters you have met in movies before.
Ooh.
Like that is something really specific to this movie. Like
Not just creatures, but like
not just creatures, but characters,
characterizations.
and these are people you haven't met the likes of before.
Because I see the trailer and Michael Shannon is in it, you know, and I just see Michael Shannon from Boardwalk Empire.
Nope. Even
Ah.
Michael Shannon is a very
Fantastic.
different character than you imagine he is going to be. There's obviously you understand he's a villain, but I also saw Downsizing.
Oh, the Matt Damon.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We bought a zoo part 2.
Let me tell you
bought a
about
smaller zoo.
Yeah, let me tell you about Downsizing. Everything you've
Damn it,
seen in
Norm.
the trailer is the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Oh, I love that.
So
yeah.
it is a very different movie than you expect. It's an Alexander Payne movie. So it's if you're familiar with Alexander Payne's oeuvre, you should be able to assess what you can emotionally expect.
What-
But again, characters, there are characters in this movie, and I don't want to over spoil it, that you haven't met characters like them before. You really haven't. That's how unique and cool it is.
What else did Alexander Payne do?
He did The Descendants. He did the oh, goodness gracious.
Sideways?
Yes, sorry, Sideways. So it's a lot of coming of age and coming to slow realization stories. There's a lot of emotional content in his movies. The Descendants is a great example. The Shailene Woodley's first big breakout with George Clooney.
Yeah, in Hawaii, right? Yeah,
And
yeah.
why?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Payne is a. I kept watching Downsizing, thinking, "Is this a Steven Soderbergh film?" Because it felt just as deeply competent and like. I was going back and forth thinking, is it that or is it a Spike Jonze film? Right? It could have been either one in terms of how. Yeah.
I like both of those
That's
things.
this intersection that we're talking about.
Because it had the weirdness of
Yeah.
a Spike Jonze premise, but the emotional depth.
Because
Nice,
it
nice.
looked like it could have been like a little K-Paxy with like a little trite
K-Paxy.
bow on the end.
No, it's not simple.
We don't
And then
talk about that film
I saw
anymore?
The Last Jedi again.
sorry.
I took all the kids to see The Last Jedi.
So you had seen it just
I'd
once
only
when
seen
we
it once
talked about
when
it
we
last
did
time.
our
Yeah.
spoiler cast.
Yes.
Holy hell, it's even better the second time.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much more room to take it in on a second viewing. And again, all the scenes in Snoke's throne room are some of the most beautiful battle scenes ever filmed.
Like if you think about the gorgeous sets of 2017, that set, what's his name's office from Blade Runner,
Neander Wallace's.
Neander Wallace's office from Blade Runner, like there's some gorgeous lighting on those places. The thing that struck me the second time on Star Wars was that Luke basically tells you the entirety of what's going to happen in every line of dialogue. Like he narrates the movie in dialogue to Rey
Yeah.
through the whole thing.
It's true. It's totally true. And it's not quite as. It's funny, like when you realize, like I made the joke that Neander Wallace in Blade Runner seems to spend all of his dialogue in that movie explaining that he is the bad guy and why. Right?
Yeah.
Like all of his dialogue is,
monologuing, yep.
I'm the bad guy, and
Yep,
here's
yep.
why.
But I can't create enough.
And you're right, Luke is just narrating.
Luke is just like, hey guys, here's what's going to happen.
Brace
I'm
yourself.
crusty and old.
I love cranky Luke. I love
God.
cranky Luke.
It's the
I love
best.
him drinking weird alien green teat milk.
milking the
That was.
space
Did you read the
walruses.
story how that was an animatronic and there were
Yes, yes.
puppeteers inside there, and the only thing they did in CG was make the milk look weirder afterward.
They made the milk
Great.
look tinted green.
Yeah.
But frankly, it was important to Rian Johnson to shoot that live.
Uh-huh.
And I agree with that choice. That was so clearly cold and wet and out there in the real in a way that seems right now slightly unfakeable.
Well, and it shows
Imagine getting that puppet out on a helicopter.
Oh my god.
To make that
And
shooting
then
day.
sealing two 2 people inside of it.
on a cliffside.
On a
basically.
cliffside.
Yeah.
It's a bad job.
And then wiping that milk off your face, off your beard that Mark Hamill does.
Well, but not only that, like the pure kind of not giving a fuckedness of the way he plays that is just so good.
I also love when Ray says, "I followed you around. You are not busy."
Yeah.
Because I thought it was going to go different. I was like, "I followed you around. I can tell you're in great shape," or like, whatever
funny.
she
You're
was
ready
going to
to
say.
train me.
Being insulting him for not being busy was not where I thought that was going to go.
I mean, all along the film, it sets something up. You think you see how it's going to go, and then Ryan Johnson usurps your expectation.
Going back, and I know we're talking a little more Shape of Water, but the creature in the Shape of Water, I just realized, was partly designed by Mike Hill.
Yes,
Mike Hill did the design for that. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And like Mike is a master sculptor who's done some of the large, beautiful pieces that you've seen in photo essays of Bleak House, Guillermo's amazing compendium of collection of stuff.
He unveils something new at a Monsterpalooza every year, and he understands creature anatomy.
Yeah.
Like in a very tangible way. So like one of those really hand sculpted creatures.
And Sally Hawkins, the lead in Shape of Water. The 2 leads are Sally Hawkins and Richard Jenkins. And Richard Jenkins is one of those "Hey, it's that" guys. Mm-hmm. He's the guy opposite Bradley Whitford in Cabin in the Woods, the other technician. And despite Robert McKee's exhortation to never use voiceover to explain your movie, Guillermo del Toro loves voiceover. He loves it. He's put it in most of his movies.
You think the opening of the Pacific Rim?
But he does not necessarily... It's always at a different service. The Shape of Water, the voiceover is never really explaining the movie. It's just lending some extra depth emotionally to what's going on. And Jenkins' voice is magnificent. Like, just even in the trailer, that trailer where you hear him,
I'm going to go
Story
see it
time.
this week. We'll bust out.
This is not a
really
full
look
spoiler
forward to
cast.
talking
We
about
will
it,
be
because
talking about it.
it's a beautiful fairy tale, and I love that it's getting so much critical acclaim, that it's doing so well. It's doing well in the box office, right?
It's still limited release.
It's still,
Okay.
Very limited.
I
Well, it may
really
not be
hope this
anymore.
film has legs at the box office and with the Oscars, because it is the kind of exciting, non-franchise, original project that we need more of in the movies.
Last year in 2017, the only movie I think that made it in the top 10 box office-wise as an original story was Dunkirk.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Everything else was a franchise or an adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
9 Marvel movies and Star Wars.
Well, and a couple of years ago, there was several articles about how we should support Jupiter Rising, even if it's a hot mess, because it's an original film with a lot of energy and money put into it, like Valerian.
Yes.
Except here with Shape of Water, it's a truly magnificent, unassailably
Have you
brilliant
guys seen
movie.
Valerian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Valerian.
But we never talked about it. I thought I was. I liked Valerian a lot. I was
Miscast, I think, a little bit in the leads, but I thought story-wise it was fantastic. Visually, of course.
I
visually,
still
of
haven't
course.
finished it. I got about
wow.
45 minutes in, and I couldn't take the dialogue.
I'll tell you this: I got a new TV
Yeah.
over
Oh, yeah,
this
you
past
got your
month.
4K.
4K
Your OLED
HDR,
4K,
which means like movie experiences. I'm just like, give me the best you got. Massage my eyeballs. I don't care if the movie's good. Just give me the visuals.
Wow. Do you have to down crank its resolution to watch older movies? Because I find
the upscaling's been okay. I mean,
has?
the graininess you sometimes see, but it's fine.
a friend of mine was teaching a film class at SF State, and he knows Walter Murch and brought Walter Murch in to give a lecture to the students. If you don't know who Walter Murch is, look him up. He's an absolute legend and a genius. And Walter Murch came in, and the college's video projector, Walter Murch looked at it and was like, "No, we can't show my movie on this." He's like, "It's upscaled, and it's making my movie look like a soap opera. It's over sharpening it, and unless we can down crank it, there's no reason to watch an old movie on this terrible upscaling projector."
Yeah, you definitely need to tweak and tune, and that's part of the joy of like buying. It's part of the frustration and joy. Like people are spending money on these TVs these days. I'm sure a significant portion of those people don't even have the HDR enabled or something, right?
Right.
So, but it's going through that AVS forum and saying, "Oh, am I going to turn setting to
I don't want to have to
10
such
or
an
30
intense
for
morass.
denoising or sharpening?" Yeah, I love it.
the one joy the one great joy of not going home at the holidays is that I don't have to go see all my relatives that have their TVs with motion smoothing on.
Oh God, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're sitting there and you're like, why does this look so vibrant and terrible?
Yes.
What's going on here?
No, everything looks like a basketball game.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like
yeah,
even
everything's
like
60
It's
hertz.
a Wonderful Life feels like Shaq's about to burst through the wall.
Where's the Kool-Aid Man? What the hell's going on here? I'm so confused.
I'll give one recommendation. We finished The Crown season 2, which I highly recommend. Beautiful production, but Godless, which is a Netflix series. Have you heard of this? Godless. It's a Western. It's completely written and directed by screenwriter Scott Frank. And it's about a mining town. And I believe, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's Jeff Daniels. Sorry. Jeff Daniels is the villain. Sam Waterston's in it. One of the Michelle Nockery, I want to say, from Downton Abbey is the lead. It's a mining town called LaBelle where an accident years ago killed all the men, and 83 men died in 5 minutes, and that's the premise. And it opens with a town that's run 90% by women, and a looming gang comes. What's
the name of it?
Godless.
Oh my gosh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
I'll check that out.
And Jeff Daniels is the leader of the gang.
Oh.
Yes.
He's the
villain.
He's the villain.
Oh.
Jeff
He's the villain.
Daniels is an undersung, even though he's becoming more culturally sung. Like he's an amazing
Newsroom
actor.
was kind of a moment for
Yes,
him, right?
yeah.
But like Dumb and Dumber, you saw his range.
Just before we wrap, one of the reasons I love having parties is to introduce people I know to other people I know.
Yeah.
And my favorite meetup this year, as we've talked about on the podcast, I released the EDC1 bags. I started a gear company, Savage Industries, and I hired a young designer to design some patches for me for this bag. And we've been going back and forth on these patches, and he's amazing. But I didn't know what to pay this kid.
That's always like nobody knows what to pay designers, it turns out.
And I realized, wait a minute, I actually know somebody who is in the business of blogging about how to comport yourself as a young designer and how to pay designers and treat them fairly. Mike Montero.
Oh yeah. I know
Mike has had a singular mission for the past few months to get Jack to quit Twitter. I believe Mike's Twitter handle is "I want Jack to quit" or some version of that.
But prior to his old man crankiness, he designed a lot of the early web. Like he was at Mule Designs, and prior he designed like I think Flickr was one of the ones that he. I can't remember.
Mike is a master, and he's wonderful, and he's been a good friend for a long time. And we love getting together to complain about politics. And so I wrote to him, and I was like, Mike, what should I pay a young designer? And he was like, I'm really glad you asked. He goes, what is it? What's it for? What is it? How does it work? Okay. And he came back with a thing and said, by the way, if that kid wants to reach out to me, let me know. Please pass on my details. I remember being a young maker of things and having no idea what to charge. And I got to introduce the two of them to each other. And Mike was like, whatever you do, charge double what you thought you should charge. And by the way, 00 is still 0, so don't be an asshole and do anything for free. He says this to the kid.
Well, I mean, but like it's a hard thing, especially when you're starting out, to get to a point where you're like, I don't think I'm very good at this. Is my time seems like it should be worth 0 because that's what I think it's worth in my head.
Right.
And like the thing that he does on his blog, I can't. Is it on the Mule Designs blog or is it on his Medium blog?
That's
maybe?
a good question, and I'm not exactly sure.
If you search for Mike Montero, it's Monteiro, I think. I think most of the stuff is on his Medium blog.
I think you're right.
But yeah, it's super important that you establish what your time is worth, and you figure out a way to do this and make a living at it.
And
it's
the
okay
young
to get
designer
paid.
Isaac is very fast, and as Mike points out, time and materials does nothing but screw the maker.
Yeah.
Just charging for time and materials because it punishes you for being fast. Yeah. You have to. There's an industry standard for what you pay for X with this amount of rights, and that's what that should encompass. And that. It was delightful on both halves of the equation.
This is the thing that Brian, our friend Brian Lamb, figured out with Wirecutter before anybody else. He was like, look, advertising sucks. It's not a model that's going to pay for the work that needs to be done if you want to actually review products.
Yeah.
Like, take the time. He pays his writers hourly.
Yeah.
So, they get paid for testing time and writing time. Traditionally, writers get paid by the word.
Right.
And at this point, it's like anywhere from 5 cents to maybe $1 if you're writing for Condé or something.
Yeah.
And and like you can't do 40 hours of testing on a set of products.
No.
For a 500 word review that you're going to get paid $30 for.
Indeed.
Yeah. So anyway, support people, pay them what they're worth.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's also law now that if you're looking for a job, your employer or prospective employer cannot ask you
In California.
what your previous salary was.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
glad. I didn't know that they could ask that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Wow.
could. Yeah. It's one of those things, like there's a large movement in the tech space right now to actually start talking about what people are paid. You know,
Right.
something that
Oh,
we've always
yeah.
been told not to do.
Yeah.
But the only person that benefits is the employers.
That's the only person that benefits. It doesn't benefit anybody else.
I mean, I'm sorry. You know, if you and I are doing the same job, we should probably be getting paid the same thing. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's fun. This is our politics minute.
Yeah, happy
Next week.
2018. Yes, let us know how you spent your Christmas holiday, your New Year's, and what are
Hey.
you looking forward to this year?
I got to thank Kenji real quick because I cooked about 50 Kenji recipes over the holidays.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
I did the slow oven prime rib. Turned
Yeah,
out great. I did the Hasselback potato gratin, which is the best potatoes I've ever had in my life.
Awesome.
I think I did Alice Waters cream spinach because that's the classic that we
can't go
always
wrong
do.
with
But
that.
yeah. Let's see, some cakes, some beef stew, and then it's Kenji. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Brought a lot of joy.
And Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you're going to celebrate.
Festivus.
Whatever you celebrate it. Festivus.
Whatever you
yes.
celebrated.
Whatever you celebrated. Happy New Year.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys.